Hi, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can spot and draw valid supply and demand zones on your chart. These zones, when drawn accurately and precisely, they can help you unlock high probability trades. Let's dive into the video. First, let's start defining supply and demand zones on our chart. Start with supply zone. Supply zone are turning point on the chart where price formed resistance. For example, take a look at this turning point. Take a look at this turning point. These are what we call supply zones. You see, turning points in the market where price formed resistance are what we call supply zones. You see, these are area of what? Supply zone. Next, we go to demand zone. It's the opposite of what? Supply zone. Demand zone are turning points in the market where price formed support. You see, these are what we call demand zone. Demand zone. Demand zone. Demand zone. Now, how can you draw this zone with accuracy and precision on your chart? First, let's target the supply zones. As we said earlier on, supply zones are turning points in the market where price form resistance. We have resistance. We have resistance, resistance, resistance. Hence, these are our levels of what? Supply zone. Now, let's try to draw them accurately. In drawing your supply zone, first, you have to make sure that that zone must be a what? A turning point. Let's take a look at this zone. For example, we notice that this zone is a turning point, right? Good. By identifying the turning point, then you have to now highlight the last bullish candle in that turning point is simply your zone. You draw it like that. This is how you draw your supply zone. Take a look at this turning point. This is another turning point. In this turning point, the last bullish candle to the upside before the market turn is this guy. But this guy, the momentum and volatility of this guy is way too big. Hence, you target the wicks. Take a look at this other turning point. You see, the last green candle in that turning point is this guy. So you draw and extend it. That zone is your area of what? Supply. So basically, this is how you can draw accurate and valid area of supply zone on your chart. Conversely, demand zone, as we said earlier on, are any turning point in the market where price formed support. Let's take a look at this turning point where price formed support. Now, how can you draw your demand zone with accuracy and precision? First, you need to target the last bearish candle in that turning point, which is this guy, and highlight it with your rectangular box for future trade opportunities. That is, anytime in the future when price comes to that zone, you expect what? Future trade opportunities. Let's take a look at another turning point in the market we have this turning point. Okay, now how can you draw our demand zone accurately at that point? Now the last bearish candle in this turning point, that is this candle, you highlight that candle from the body, from the high price all the way to the low price, and extend it with your rectangular box for future trade opportunities. Here is another example. You can notice here we got a turning point at that level, and the last bearish candle before the market created this turning point is this candle. So what we're going to do, we're going to highlight this candle from the high price all the way to the low price and extend it for future trade opportunities. So basically, this is how you can draw your demand zones with accuracy and precision, which can help you unlock high potential trade opportunities. Now, let's try to draw as many supply and demand zones on this chart. To start with, supply. We said a turning point where price created a resistance. Hence, the last bullish candle in that turning point. Let's say, considering this turning point, remember. Okay, now that we've considered that turning point, the last bullish candle in that turning point, we highlight it with our arrow and extend it for future trade opportunities. Hence, we establish our supply zone. Another point here, this is another very significant point. Okay, now to establish our supply zone, the last bullish candle from the high of that candle all the way to the close of that candle, and extend it for future trade opportunities. Take a look at this turning point. The last bullish candle in that turning point is this guy. You highlight it all the way to the high of that candle and extend your rectangular box for future trade opportunities. Also, we have this turning point. The last bullish candle in that turning point is this candle. And then we extend it all the way to the right for future trade opportunities. Remember, when the candle is too long, in terms of volume and momentum, you can decide to what? Put it on the wick. Okay. Take a look at this turning point as well. The last green candle in that turning point, we target the last green candle, right? That is this guy, all the way to the bottom and extend it. But because this guy, the volume and momentum of that candle is too much, then we target the wicks. Now let's come to our level of demand zone. Okay. For demand zone, we also target the turning point in the market. We have this turning point. So the last red candle in that turning point, let's say this candle, right? Why I choose this candle? Simply because it covers this other small red candles. We have this turning point, the last bearish candle, the red candle to the downside, which is this. But as I told you, because this candle is too big in terms of momentum and its volume, hence we consider the wicks. and you extend it. Here is another turning point. So in order to establish a demand zone, you target the last red candle in that turning point and extend your rectangular box for future trade opportunities. So the point which I want to measure here is, at some certain point in the market will present a lot of turning points, hence creating confusion as to which of this supply or demand zone is valid or invalid. In order to combat or to counter this particular problem, hence we establish market structure. So as I said earlier on, at some certain point in the market, it will create a lot of levels of supply and demand zones, hence creating confusion as to which one is valid and which one is invalid. In order to filter out valid supply and demand zone, we have to incorporate what we call market structure. But to avoid making this video long, I will create another video on supply and demand zone coupled with market structure. So if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so and turn up your notification button for the next video I'll be uploading. Bye for now.